Stop trying to be numb. Hello, welcome back to my 90 days of lessons from me to you. And today's day 51. And please ignore my hair. I'm getting it done today. I know it's huge and a lot right now. But today's lesson is to stop trying to be numb all the time. I feel like one of the things that we do as, people, humans, is that when we experience some pain, whether it's a great pain, a minuscule pain, or just a medium level pain, I guess, is we try to, some of us, we try to acknowledge it and go through the motions of it. But I feel like for the most part, we always try to kind of numb it or push it to the side or do things instead of addressing that pain and maybe the root cause of that pain. And this takes form in being numb or just being like, I don't care. And this is something that I am a perpetuator of, because I've realized that, when I experience something, say I've experienced like a great pain in the past, and then there's a current pain going on, a thing that I tried to do and that I still do is to minimize that pain by comparing it to the pain from the past, right? And, to some extent it does work, but at the end of the day, it doesn't take away from the fact that it happened to you and that pain is worth acknowledgement. Sure, it may not be as great as it was in the past, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it happened. And doing that and comparing it to it and trying to make yourself feel, not feel that pain, trying to ignore it as much as you can, it doesn't do anything, because the pain at the end of the day, when the day ends, literally when the day ends, when that sun sets, because it does affect your mood, when that sun sets and you hit that bed, and if you're up, scrolling through your phone or whatever, maybe there's a video that pops up that reminds you of it. Maybe it's some song you're listening to that reminds you of. Maybe it's just your own thoughts are running amok. That pain is going to return and it's going to hit you. And the thing that sucks about it is the more that you do suppress something and try to be numb about it, the harder it hits you, right? Oftentimes I've realized, because I was this person, the people who try to be as stoic as possible are oftentimes the ones in the most pain, but they suffer in silence and they put out this facade to the world that they're okay and that they're doing great. And there's nothing wrong with being stoic inherently, but you also need to address the fact that that pain happened to you. It's something that it's a part of you now. Whether you learned a lesson from it or it's just something that you need to experience, it doesn't, just pushing it aside doesn't get rid of it. Like it's always going to be there. It's always going to be there. It's always going to take form in some way, whether it's a destructive habit. Maybe you try to, one thing I like to say about pain is that you can take it and turn it into something positive. But oftentimes, if you ignore it, your body and your mind subconsciously may take it and form it into these bad habits as to how it can be expressed, whether it's through smoking, drinking, or drug use, or maybe partying too much or things like that. Maybe you're just going through this great pain and you want to ignore it so bad that you again turn to substances to try to numb your mind, and that robs you of so much, because like I said, that pain, it can be taken and turn into something beautiful. Oftentimes artists, their greatest pain is their greatest work. I'm not saying that I'm some artist and then that my pain that I experience is my greatest work, but I feel like I've said this in the video before. Anytime that I have gone through something in my life, because pain is experience. Oftentimes than not, pain is experience. It's something that you're experiencing for the first time. Maybe something that you've experienced before, but it's a repeated experience. Maybe, let's say, for example, a breakup. You go through a breakup once. The first time you go through it, it hurts. It sucks. You go through one again, depending on how long it was, it hurts. It sucks. It gets easier, but it never truly goes away, right? It's like a lingering feeling. Is limerence the word I'm looking for? I know that limerence I think limerence is unrequited love. But, yeah, numbing yourself, also you shut down yourself. You shut yourself off from the world. I want to actually, let's take it back. For example, a nonchalant person would have you think that they are this cool person all the time who's truly just, they don't care about anything. I know this because oftentimes I do come off as a nonchalant person to people, but it's from my perspective, for my own sake. It's not the fact that I want people to think that I don't care about stuff. It's just there's things I genuinely just don't care to give my time to, right? But people who like to claim that they're nonchalant all the time, I truly believe that they're just holding back themselves from experiencing things, from experiencing the pain that could cause them to grow. Because I was that person. I was holding myself back. I was holding myself back from experiencing those different pains, whether it's, again, heartbreak or loss or a defeat of some kind, or just a personal pain that held me back from growing as a person. Even just not putting myself into positions to have pain. I know that sounds crazy and maybe redundant, but if you put yourself out there, you risk pain, right? Again, we're gonna go back to the example of love. The idea of love is a beautiful thing. Experiencing love throughout the human life is a beautiful thing, whether you get to experience it once, multiple times, or, whatever. It's once or multiple times. I didn't even say whatever. But there's one guaranteed end to love. It's grieving. At the end of every single beautiful thing, there is grief, because you're gonna have to suffer with the loss of that thing. You're gonna have to suffer with the loss of it, because to open yourself up to love is to also open up to yourself to the idea that it may not last, right? And even if, say, you guys do last, you get married, you have a beautiful family, and you keep going. At the end of the day, one of you is gonna pass on. Whether it's my wife passing on before me or I'm passing on before my wife, one of us is gonna have to grieve. So the end result of love is grief. That is a guaranteed metric. That is always going to happen. Grief is always going to happen. It doesn't matter how it ends, there is grief at the end of it. And if you hold yourself back from that numbness, hold yourself back with that numbness because you don't want to experience that grief, you also hold yourself back from the beautiful thing that is love, right? You hold yourself back from the beauty that is love, because love is one of the most beautiful human emotions, not imaginations. One of the most beautiful human emotions, right? And to put this back to my other example of experiencing things, to put yourself out there and experience and do new things, you have to deal with the fact that you may experience some sort of pain. That pain can take many different examples. I'll give, let's say, skydiving. I know this is like an extreme example, right? But with skydiving, you risk the chance of maybe your parachute doesn't deploy. Maybe you go down as a rough landing. Maybe you break a leg. Maybe you break an arm. But you experience this beautiful once in a lifetime thing where you get to truly see the world higher than everybody else. And you get to free fall through the sky. Guys, I want to go skydiving. I'm going to go skydiving probably in a couple weeks. But it's such a beautiful thing to experience. It's such a beautiful thing to experience, man. And if you hold yourself back from these different experiences that help you, that shape you as a person, that give you these different perspectives, numbing yourself to that pain or that love or anything of that sort, it doesn't do anything for you. You don't grow as a person. To experience pain is to grow as a person. To experience pain and acknowledge pain and deal with pain is to grow as a person. Everyone has pain, but to truly go through that pain, to experience it, acknowledge it, and let it take its course, that is one of the most beautiful things. I know that it sounds crazy that something that we give this negative stigma to throughout our lives is one of the most beautiful things you can experience. Because at the end of the day, pain sucks. It sucks. Nobody truly wants to go through it. But to grow as a person, you need to go through it. And once you go through it, once you walk through that fire, you're stronger at the end of it. And maybe next time around when that pain comes around, like I said, it'll still be there, but it'll be easier to deal with. Again, I'll give my own example. First time my girlfriend and I broke up, I was depressed for months. I went to therapy, started reading. I did a lot of internal work. Second time around we broke up, it still sucks. It still sucked, but I dealt with it better. I remember this time last year, I was graduating, and I remember I was in my living room at 3 a.m. crying, bawling my eyes out, looking at old text messages, hoping that she would text me or call me, because it was an event that I wanted her to be there for. I was counting on her being there for my graduation. I was counting on her being there for my graduation party and things of that nature. So I went through that pain. I'm still going through that pain. And I truly do recommend that any pain that you have in your life, you acknowledge it, because once you acknowledge it and you take hold of it and not numb it, you truly take control of your own life. You know, this kind of goes back to the idea of being a victim in your own life. Don't be a victim to your own pain. Don't let your own pain control you. So, yeah. As always, see God first in every single thing that you do, and see God first in every single thing that you do. Always look for Him. Love yourself more than you love anybody else. And if there's nobody there that loves you, I love you. But I will see you guys tomorrow. I love you. Goodbye.